Hey guys, this is Mr. H. Hey, I want to do a video on the three properties that you're supposed to know, the commutative property, the associative property, and distributive property. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to show you how I remember the properties because I have to, there's some way for me to be able to remember it. So these are the images that I use in order to remember these properties. And then I'm going to do some examples from Delta Math showing you how to recognize a property. So I'm going to jump in by starting with this. All right. Now, if you look at this, you can see that we got some cars and traffic, and they're back to back. This happens every day in every major city. It's called commuting. So every day, a bunch of people commute into work, and there's a lot of traffic, and then they go home. So here's the image that I use to help me remember. So in the morning, they commute into work. They go this direction. And then when they're done, they go home and they just turn around and go the other direction. In fact, let me change the color, change it to red. So they're going to go this direction. So when you just reverse the order, that's called the commutative property. So the way I remember it is cars commute into work every day, and then when they're done, they commute home from work. All right, so they just reverse the order. And it's always busy, same image. So commuting into work, commuting home from work. It's always traffic, a lot of traffic. So that's how I remember the rule. Now, here's what it means in mathematically. It just means, and you guys already know this property, but now you just have to put the name to it. Everyone understands that 4 times 3 is the same thing as 3 times 4. It doesn't matter if you flip the order. If the 4 goes first or the 3 goes first, it's still an example. They're still equal. So that's an example of the commutative property of multiplication, because we are commuting around the multiplication sign here. So that's one. Same thing is true for addition. Doesn't matter if I add 4 plus 3 or 3 plus 4. They're still going to be equal. And we are commuting around the addition sign. So this would be the commutative property of addition. Okay? So just think of commuting into work, all the traffic going one direction, and then when you're done, it reverses, it flips, and goes the other direction. All right, now, next thing. Now, I'm hoping that you guys have heard this before, but your parents or your grandparents or your guardians, somebody has probably told you, be careful who you associate yourself with, because if you're not hanging around good people, you might get yourself in trouble, because those people are getting in trouble. They're probably gonna get you in trouble. So you got to be careful who you associate yourself with. Another quote, again, it says, be careful whom you associate with, because you wind up imitating the habits of the people that you interact with. So if you're hanging around people who are doing a bunch of bad things, you're probably going to pick up some of those bad habits too. So be careful who you associate with. Now, the way that you see this mathematically is parentheses. The parentheses indicate who you're associating with. So in this example, the 5 and the 7 are associating with each other because they're in a parentheses together. The 8 is left out. They aren't associating with the 8. They are associating with each other. So the 5 and the 7 are associating with each other. And then, for some reason, the 7 says, I don't want to associate with the 5 anymore. I'd rather associate with the 8. So these two now are associating. So all it means is that you're regrouping. But the thing is 5 times 7, parentheses, times 8 is equal to 5 times, parentheses, 7 times 8. Those are equal because of the associative property. And this is an example of the associative property of multiplication, because we're associating around the multiplication sign. Okay? Now, the second one is the associative property of addition. The 4a plus 6 are associating. And then over here, the 6 is now associating with the 5. So the parentheses have been moved. Now these two are equal, It doesn't matter that we move the parentheses, they're still going to be equal because of the associative property. Now, this is the associative property of addition because we are associating around addition. So that's what you have. Now, so that's the second property, and that's how I remember it. Be careful who you associate with. Now, last one, distributive property. Now, the way I like to think about this is I think of someone like Tom Brady. Tom Brady is one of the best quarterbacks to ever play. One of the things that makes him great is he would distribute the ball to all of his receivers. To this guy, if he was open, to this guy, if he was open, even to this guy way over here, if he was open, he would distribute it. And that's what you do. You distribute whatever is out front of the parentheses to every term inside. So let's look at an example. So right here, we got a -7. That's the number outside the parentheses. And here are the terms, 2x, we got a +3, and we got a -6x. So this 7 should go to each, well, to each term. That's what we want to see. So if you look over here, that's the image. 7 times, a -7 times 2x is going to be a -14x. A -7 times a +3 is going to be a -21. And then a -7 times a -6 is going to be a +42x. And notice the parentheses are no longer there. So whenever you have parentheses and a number outside, in order to get rid of the parentheses, you have to use the distributive property, period. All right, now I'm going to do a couple examples from Delta Math, and let's go. So first one, let's see here. I'm going to do a new problem. So I got a equation here, and oh, this is not quite, well, this is not the properties, but I want to show you. So basically what I did was I subtracted 1 from both sides. So this would be the subtraction property of equality. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, what do we got here? New problem. All right, we got something here. So now notice this, we got 4 plus parentheses 1 plus x. And now the first step is we regrouped. We now have 4 plus 1 in parentheses and then the plus x. So the 1 is no longer associating with the x. He wants to associate with the 4. So this is an example of the associative property of addition. And this is a round addition. So that's how you know it's addition. Submit it. Got it. All right, let's do a couple more. It's cold. All right, here. Now, in order to get this -2 away from the x, we added 2 to this side and we added 2 to this side. That's why we have 4, and that's how the -2 disappears. So we are using the addition property of equality, which would be this one. Boom, done. All right, let's try a couple more. All right, oh, wow. So we got a -1/3 x equals a -4. And what we're going to do is basically we can multiply this side, this by a -3. And that's going to actually get rid of the 1/3. And so if I multiply this side by a -3, I got to multiply this side by a -3, and a -4 times a -3 is going to be a +12. So this is an example of the multiplication property of equality. All right, so now let me go back because I want to show you a couple other things. Delta Math has been really slow lately. All right, so come on. All right, so here's what we got. We've got, so all I want you to do is, let me take a picture of this real quick. Well, let's see, this is very slow right now. So let me take a quick picture. All right, so look, all we did is, wow, God, this is really slow. Why is it so slow? Sorry, guys. All right, so if you'll notice, the only thing that's changed is the 3 is where the 10x is, and the 10x is now where the 3 is. So they are commuting, and they're commuting around the plus side. So this first one is the commutative property of addition. And now, so going from line 1 to line 2 is commutative property of addition. And then look at what we're doing. We are multiplying, we're distributing the 6 to the 10x, and that's how we get 60x. And then we do 6 times 3. That's how we get 18. So the second one is the distributive property. So if I go back over here, and I say the first one is the commutative property of addition, and the second one is the distributive property. Submit it. Done. All right, let's try one more. Let me take a picture, but this is so slow. All right, so right here, I am taking a picture and I didn't get the whole thing, but that's fine. All right. 1 second, it's working. Give me 1 second. All right, let's go. Come on. All right, so what happened? Again, the 7 took the place of the 9x, and the 9x took the place of the 7. So they commuted. They changed places. So, and we're commuting around the plus symbol. So this is commutative property of addition. Commute of addition. And then, so going from line 1 to line 2, that's what we did. And then again, we use the distributive property. So 6 times 9 is 54. 6 times 7 is 42. So this is basically the same as the last one. Commutative property of addition, and then the distributive property. Boom. Let me see if I can find another different one in this. Oh, yeah, here's a good one. Let me take a quick picture. Well, it hasn't been quick, but let me take a picture. And then this will be the last one, and then I'll post this. All right, so here's what we got. All right, so what, come on. So what changed? The only thing that changed is the 3 took the place of the 10x, and the 10x took the place of the 3. So they commuted, and they're commuting around the addition sign. So this is commuted, right? So it's a commutative property of addition. Now, what happened between line 2 and line 3? Well, the x plus 8 took the place of the 10x plus 3, and the 10x plus 3 took the place of the x plus 8. So they are commuting, but we're commuting around multiplication because this right here, these 2 parentheses indicates multiplication. So we've got 2 commutative properties. The first one is addition, and the second one is multiplication. So if I go here, I can do commutative property of addition, and then I would do commutative property of multiplication. Submit it. Done. All right, that's it, guys. All right, so you got to know these properties. These 3 properties, you got to know. They like to test these on the exams, so you just got to learn them. All right, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to shut down and post this.